All right. What's up, guys? Okay. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. We're going to dive into a very important topic of masculinity. And, well, let's see. First of all, it's been a lot of inner work for me the past few weeks, been going deep within my own patterns, my own limitations and blockages, and ready for the next level. And I've got some exciting new things I'll be sharing with you guys soon. But yeah, more on that soon. Ali Azami, what's up? Romain Delmas, bonjour. Jay Wells, good evening from Wales. Excellent. Thanks for tuning in. Instagram, what's up, guys? So let's just dive into it. Let's dive right into it. We're going to talk about masculinity. Is masculinity toxic? Is it toxic to be a man in this world, to be a strong, driven, assertive man? Christopher Bird, what's up? So here's the thing. In our society, definitely here in the West, masculine behavior has been very repressed. It's been very, we could say, shamed and not encouraged. And this starts in our childhood, in our schooling years. We're told to be quiet. We're told to not be assertive. Don't question the teacher. Don't talk back. Don't speak your mind. Don't play roughly. Uh, competition is discouraged. Like I remember in my school, they transitioned from we would do these like little competitive events, and it used to be like first place, second place, and it was like participation ribbons. You know what I mean? Everyone's equal. Obviously, everyone is equal, but like no competitiveness, right? Uh, and the biggest thing here, I think, is don't displease others. Don't displease others. Make sure you make everyone around you feel good. And because of this, we learn how to be a people pleaser. We learn how to please our parents. We learn how to please our teachers, our society, and we repress our true expression, our true unique nature, and our strength. And what this does is it turns us from being, having a hope of being a free human being a creative trailblazer individual, and it turns us into basically being an employee, being a slave. And there's been, a lot of attack on masculine expression. Words like toxic masculinity have been thrown around a lot more in the past decades. And personally, in my 20s, when I was in my spiritual path, I was really, one of those guys like, oh, I'm exploring my feminine. Um, and it's just, it seems inherently like the kind of the new agey stuff goes with being more feminine, more flowy. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with femininity, right? But what I'm really getting into here is that I was really I was connecting with the feminine for sure. And early on in my spiritual path, I had the long flowing hair, was wearing like tight pants, loose flowing clothing, and but you know what? It was keeping me from ever attracting the feminine. I had no sexual polarity between myself and women. My dating life sucked. I was very lonely. I was very depressed. And so the thing was I never really learned at that time how to be in my masculine, how to really be strong, assertive, decisive, action oriented, how to control myself and how to control my life. Basically, I was just kind of flowing, going with the flow. Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? What should I do with my life? I don't know. And you, as a man, there's no strength in living like this. There's no strength in being disconnected from your strength, from your masculine drive, from your strength and assertiveness. And this, I know this sounds triggering for a lot of men to talk about this. Like I've been talking about nice guy syndrome and like why being a nice guy kills your dating life, kills your relationships, kills intimacy, keeps you from having sex, keeps you from having quality relationships. And kind of the common response is, well, I don't want to be an asshole. Like, right. And here's the thing, being this people pleasing, really restricted, nice guy, feminized, we could say, kind of the beta male, um, it doesn't mean being an asshole to everyone. There's a because the difference here is the nice guy uses niceness. He acts nice really as a manipulation to try to get something from others. Well, if I'm just nice to her, eventually she'll feel obligated to date me and have sex with me. That strategy does not work very well. Um, and so let me, if you do find this triggering, like talking about connecting with your assertiveness, your decisiveness, not being so emotionally involved in women in relationships, and being more in your strong, assertive, decisive, driven nature. If that's triggering to you, let me ask you this: do you have passionate sex regularly? Do you have financial abundance in your life? Do you live an independent lifestyle, like you do what you want when you want to do it? Or are you a 9 to 5 employee slave, crushed by someone else's will? Do you struggle with depression, loneliness, addiction, anxiety? If you're experiencing these things and you're still like, well, I don't want to be an asshole, I just need to be nice to everyone, you're stuck in the slave system. You're stuck in this people pleasing conditioning, this weakness. You're enslaved. You're not able to express yourself. You're not truly being yourself. You're being who you think other people want you to be. And you think that that's getting you somewhere, but clearly it's getting you nowhere. And I can say this having spent a large portion of my life in this pattern, being a people pleaser, being terrified what others might think of me. And so I would just appear very neutral to everyone to not offend anyone. And you know what? It ended up just cutting me off from everyone. It was cutting me off from ever having fulfilling relationships, friendships. I was stuck in my life, was going nowhere. There's no fulfillment in that. So a lot of us, we've been convinced that it's toxic to truly be a man, to be a masculine, strong man. And that is what's enslaving you. This fear of your own inherent power because you've been told there's something wrong with it. And the thing is that, well, okay, first of all, it destroys relationships because all relationships, all sexual attraction is based on polarity. And this is the same in any type of relationship, regardless of sex, orientation, blah, blah, blah. But using the model of the male female relationship, what drives attraction is polarity. There's a yin, there's a yang, there's masculine, and there's feminine. There's always the more masculine partner and the more feminine partner. And there may be different specifics of this dynamic. Like there's certain ways where you're more yin and they're more yang, and then there's other ways where you're more yang, they're more yin. But it's important to understand that if you are a man attracted to women and you want to have a flowing feminine partner, you must be an assertive, decisive, strong man. You have to be the one holding the structure, making the decisions. Because a woman's nature is illogical, it is emotional. It appears quite volatile to us as men because we're very logical creatures, and the tendency for men is to want to try to control the feminine, to try to logic with and use reason. And we have a lot of, kind of modern dating advice that's very manipulative. It's very shallow. It's very based on just like physical attraction and just getting women to desire you sexually and have sex with them and then find someone else to have sex with. Just kind of accumulation, accumulating money, accumulating trophy girls that you can like impress your friends with and things like that. And that's fine. If that's like your biggest interest in life, great. But for me personally, it's about relationships about much more than just getting laid and like having this look at this body and like, okay, let me put my dick in it. That's it. That's what it's about. That's porn conditioning. That's media conditioning where we're experiencing relationship from a small fraction of our true nature as the vast, powerful, multidimensional beings that we are. What about emotional connection? What about spiritual connection, intellectual connection? Personally, without these things, sex alone does not satisfy me. Physical lust, sex alone will never satisfy me personally. I need a heart connection. I need spiritual connection. I want to share my depths and to learn the depths of someone else. I want to provide and protect my woman. I want to have a spiritual relationship. I want to evolve with this person and be able to create deeper levels of polarity, deeper levels of attraction, deeper levels of sexual experience, which you cannot get from a one night stand. It takes years of evolving together, growing together, and that's not easy. The tendency is to run away as soon as the shit starts to come up. As soon as, maybe you start to lose polarity a little bit because the dynamics shifted. It's easy to just be like, goodbye, see you later, find someone new. And it's the same thing over and over again. It's very, it's a very, personally, I feel that it's a more high level practice to go really deep with a person over a long period of time and to be able to to step into a practice of continuing to build polarity. And my experience has been that has led to the deepest, most mind-blowing sexual connection, deep heart connection, deep cosmic orgasm, deep profound openings. And those types of experiences, sure, it could happen in a one night stand, but usually not, because for most of us, even like the guys who are out trying to get laid by strangers at bars, there's often the split in the psyche where they think they want to have sex with random people because it's what society's told them, and it's what their friends, they feel this pressure to impress people. So it's like, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to want. And then what often happens is they're in these hookup situations, and I call this one night stand syndrome. One thing that happens is they can't even get an erection because, yeah, this person's physically attractive, but there's no deeper level of connection. They don't know them, and so there's this block in their body, in their heart, in their energy field, and it's their, you could say, the subconscious mind way of protecting them by not being able to get hard in this situation, right? So to be able to, this is from my experience when I was starting to run into issues in my relationship, when polarity was drying up, when sexual attraction wasn't quite there, it led me to really study this work I'm talking about right now. It led me to understand, wow, I have not been a strong, grounded rock of a man. I've been overly emotional. I've been indecisive. I've been always asking my partner, "Oh, what do you like? What do you want to do?" Asking questions versus saying, "This is what I want. This is what we're going to do. This is how it is." When you can do that, when you can be the anchor, to be the structure, to be that like the tree, and like the redwood tree in the forest, you're grounded deep into the earth. Your energy is penetrating the earth. You're expansive, strong vertical structure, strong spine, strong flowing energy through your system. That's attractive to the feminine. When you can hold yourself, here's a very important thing. I was talking about this, the volatile emotional nature of women. The tendency I used to have was to, when my partner was upset, when she was having a strong emotional, whatever it was, anger, deep sadness, grief, she was angry at me or angry about something that had happened. My instinct was, or rather, my maybe more my conditioned response was to try to diffuse her emotion as quickly as possible. Like bring her, like, okay, I just need to like help her feel good again, help her get back to this like what seems to me like a normal state. But it's killing the desire, because the feminine actually loves that emotional chaos. They thrive in that. That is the feminine nature, and that is the response to that, rather than reacting to that and like getting emotional yourself or trying to like tell her like you should not be acting like this. What I've actually found the most important thing to do is to just get it out of your emotional body, get out of your head, and just to be in your body. Have strong presence in the here and now. Don't let, she may be saying hurtful things to you. Don't let it land on you. Don't think about it. Don't take anything personally. Just allow yourself to be and understand that she's in her feminine, watery tidal wave hurricane. And when you can be a steel rod anchored deep in the earth, rooted, confident, completely in presence, just breathing fully, not getting in fight or flight, but just kind of taking it like a man, to be honest. Um, then you become this vertical pillar, this pole that hurricane of emotion can spiral around, and it gives something for it to anchor on. And now she feels safe and protected by you and your strong masculine presence, and she's able to deeply go deeper into her receptive feminine nature. I have found that for women, deep emotion, often appearing very chaotic, deep sadness, deep anger, whatever, it's not far away from deep sexual desire, attraction, and lust. Remember that. But when you kill that emotional flow, you kill her sexual desire. So when you stop being a people pleaser, you stop living your life for other people, you step into your strength, your assertiveness, and you get really solid in who you are, what you want to create in your life, what you're doing throughout your daily life. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your time? What are you focusing on? Are you just dicking around, scrolling randomly through social media, playing video games all day, binge watching Netflix? Or do you have a plan every day for your life? Are you working? What do you want in your life? What are your goals? If you don't have that written down, then it's no wonder why you're kind of spinning in circles in your life. If you're not clear exactly what you want in all areas of your life, you're never going to get anywhere. And once you have that, it's like, okay, well, what am I doing for a little bit every day to bring myself towards that direction? Are my actions in alignment with my intentions and my goals? If they're not, it's time to change something. So, kind of wrapping this up before I get into you guys' questions. More than ever, it's important for men to step into their power, to stop feeling threatened by other men, to stop like trying to fight other men, and to tap into your inner strength, your inner power, your independence, and your assertiveness. But see the problem, something I experienced as well when I was a nice guy. I'm still working on my nice guy patterns. I'm not gonna lie, but I've come a long way. But I noticed that I used to have this like resistance towards other men. I always felt like strong, like competitiveness or like even jealousy towards other men. And so it would prevent me from connecting and having like deeper relationships with men. And this prevented me from really connecting with my masculine nature because I was spending more time like maybe around my partner with women than I was with men. And so I was more in my emotional, flowy, feminine state basically, and that was killing the polarity in my relationship. So once I started to create friendships with other men, spending time with other men, tapping into my masculinity and supporting the men around me, it really helped me to, of course, tap into my masculine power. And here's the thing, guys. Here's to really get down to it. What I think is why there's this kind of attack on um, masculinity, masculine expression, why we've been kind of shamed and conditioned out of it, is that it's those who are in power in this world do not want strong men. They do not want you to be a strong masculine man because a strong man does not allow themselves or their loved ones, their family, their friends to be oppressed and run over. A strong man will not allow that. A weak man will accept whatever bullshit fear story is being shoved in his face and he'll just go right along with it. He'll pull his whole family down with him too. Say, well, because he's not in control. He's not in control of himself. He's letting someone else's power, someone else's influence and will override his own. This is one of the biggest things I would say of being a man is having a strong will. You don't let other people's opinions, other people's agendas, other people's belief systems affect you. Or maybe you consider them. Absolutely. It's good to see things from all people's perspectives. But I think the sign of a weak man is where everyone's belief system around you, everyone's opinion, it lands on you and drives you, and you're just trying to please them. When you become strong in yourself, it doesn't fucking matter what someone else thinks about you, what they say about you, because you're a strong mountain. To be a man is to be a mountain. It's to be a mountain of strength and integrity. And it doesn't matter what hits you, you just fucking take it and bounce it off. Makes you stronger. So look what's happening in the world. it's been a shit show. I mean, kind of our whole lives, it's been a shit show, but I mean, especially in the past few years, just all kinds of shit, all kinds of bullshit control system, like you know, just 24/7. People are getting hit with all this bullshit in the news, the fuckery that's happening in the world. And you know what? They're telling you it's all your fault. Oh, this is the thing. They're guilt tripping everyone into this thing like, oh, well, you didn't wear the mask, you didn't get the injection, you're causing global warming. These are the things that are landing on people like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this now. Okay, daddy, tell me what I need to do next. They've programmed you to be a slave, to do whatever the fuck they tell you to do. And people are doing it without question because they're afraid. Their fear makes them fucking weak. And they're doing things humans should not be doing because of it. And I understand it's easy to get caught up in the storm of emotional chaos and fear, but like, just take a second, take a breath, and remember you are the creator of your reality. There's a worldwide control system rolling out. That's what's going on. It's extremely obvious when you can be a bit objective, a bit detached. You get out of the like emotionally triggering stories and politics and you really look at the bigger picture. You look back on history, you look at the patterns, you look at who's in control, you look at where the monies are flowing. You look at the fact that there's 3 or 4 major investors that own pretty much I think 98% of all companies in the entire world. It's pretty easy to see that it's all a fucking game. It's it's all virtual reality. Every information coming on the news, it's contrived. Every news station around the planet, they get the same stories. They get the same script that they read off. It's not news. It's a fucking corporation. So all these shocking news stories, all these fears of the future, oh, nuclear war, global warming, we're all gonna fucking die, pandemics. It's just putting you in survival mode. You become receptive to like, okay, well, what do I do? Oh, this is scary. What do I do next then? And you do whatever the fuck they tell you to do because you're afraid, because you cannot manage yourself and your own life and step back for a moment and say, oh, maybe I need to like not live my life in reactivity. You're slaving the billionaire's agenda, my friends, and this is the age old. This has been going on for thousands of years. It's nothing new. The packaging, the marketing has changed, but it's nothing new. Whenever there's fear behind something, you know it doesn't have your best interest in it. Just remember that. So again, if you want to be free and not be a contributor to this dystopian Orwellian nightmare that they're trying to put us into in the future, um, it's time to be a man. It's time to stand up for yourself. Do something real to be something real. Find your purpose and your passion. Get out of reactivity, get out of fear, get out of this brain fog of depression, addiction, and really ask yourself, what do I want in my life? What do I want to bring into my immediate surroundings? Because what you can do, we can't really fight some of the bigger forces here. I mean, there's the rabbit hole goes deep, but what we can do is affect our mind and our body and our immediate environment. What can you see? You look around your room, you're like, what can you see? That is what you can affect. That is what you can work on. And if you don't like the situation you're in, fucking change it. Change your job. Move somewhere else. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to get off your ass, do things differently, get out of your hypnotized rhythms and do some work. But that's what it means to be a man. It means to be uncomfortable. It means to do things that aren't easy. You're not just fucking pushing buttons on a video game. You put in the effort, you put in the time, you walk against the herd, you walk against the river that's flowing at you. You're swimming up that fucking stream, and it's making you stronger every day. To be weak is to be a slave. In this world, to be weak is to be a slave. To be strong, disciplined, and do the difficult thing every day, that's what it takes. So find your purpose, find your passion, heal yourself, change your dysfunctional patterns, your societal conditioning, the bullshit that our parents, our society, our political abusers put on us our whole lives. Change it, transform it. Yeah, it's going to take help. You may need a therapist, a counselor, a healer, a qigong instructor, an acupuncturist. You'll need some assistance, but you know what? You can do it. You just have to do it. You have to get out of your hypnotized daily rhythms that are getting you nowhere in your life, running in a fucking circle, cultivate yourself, meditate, strengthen your mind, read books, read about some of the subtle aspects of humanity's history. So you start to detect patterns. You can see when you're being manipulated. Hang out with men, find men's groups, go to the gym, whatever. Find men in your area. Start to develop friendships with other men. Practice your strength and independence. Go to the gym, lift weights, strengthen your body. A strong body equals a strong mind, and a strong mind can build a strong body. Meditate, practice qigong, cultivate your chi. That's one of the really important things here as well. Open up your energy channels. So you're not just like all these, just like a spider web with all this old dust and cobwebs and shit in it. That's what most people's energy fields look like. Clean that shit up, bro. You'll be able to think a little bit clearer when you get your microcosmic orbit open. You get your energy channels open. You do qigong every day. Suddenly, it's like, oh shit, I don't feel just run down and depressed and like garbage anymore. I can actually think clearly. Okay, guys. Um, I think you get the message. It's time to be a man. It's time to step up. And here's the thing: every man in the world doing this work, making themselves a little bit better every day. It's not it's not that ridiculous. And there's nothing to fight anymore, right? It's like this is the strategies they get us to fight each other. Like, oh, well, it's this political party. You have this other belief system. You're the problem. No, it's like just this is the age old thing. Create civil war, turn people against each other, and we're just So work together, create friendships, create connections, cultivate yourself, and just try to make the world a little bit better than it was when you got here. It's not too much to ask, and things are going to transform pretty quickly when we're all doing our inner work. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to answer some questions. Feel free to type in your questions in the chat box. We'll see. We'll see what we got here. Well, to you guys, Mishra, man. Yes, yes, my brother. Goodwill's asking when's the next retreat. I need help with accountability with my practice. I don't have the next men's retreat. Well, the next sexual kung fu event, whatever that's going to be. I don't have one lined up yet, but there will definitely be more in the future. So stay tuned. Adun Skin says, you are totally right about hooking up with random people, not being a very deep connection. But let's not forget what a great confidence booster it can be for a man to be able to pull a lady like that. Absolutely. And this is the thing is like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Like, I had my share of one night stands, of course. It's fun. It's great. Yeah, it could definitely be a confidence booster, especially if you're the kind of guy who like gets overly emotionally involved and just like obsessive and needy with like just like the relationship is everything for you. Oh, then I think it's great just to kind of like float around a bit, work on yourself, like have some casual connections. Absolutely. My point with that being though that like ultimately just that type of if that's your only type of experience as far as relationships, it's not ultimately like super fulfilling in the long run. But, of course, have fun. Yeah. Cub Dream says, what up, Jonathan? I'm a yoga teacher in Mexico and have a group of dudes that are interested in learning sexual kung fu. So I started teaching them what I'm learning from you. Any advice for me as a teacher? Well, it's important to completely embody what you're teaching. Like, if you're just kind of like, well, I read this yesterday and like, oh, I'll teach this today. It's just important that you embody what you're teaching so you don't kind of steer people on the wrong path. And you also have to know like what to do uh if things go wrong. Like sexual energy, it's very volatile. There's a lot that could go wrong in the process of cultivating sexual energy. So it's just important that you kind of be an expert of the thing you're going to teach. I will say that. But yeah, this work needs to be spread. That's for damn sure. Okay, Maria is asking, do you believe primary premature ejaculation is genetic? I don't believe, I mean, not genetic in the sense that it's like in your genes specifically, but maybe there's some relation as far as like you learned like a lot of stress patterns, you kind of pick them up subconsciously from your parents. That could be a contribution to it. But most premature ejaculation, I would say, is comes more from our early experiences of masturbation and sex rather than like a genetic thing. And any man can overcome this. We created these patterns ourselves. We can uncreate them. And then, okay, the next question. Do you believe the primary lifelong premature ejaculation that starts at first masturbation and lasts? Oh, genetic. Same question, basically. Already answered that. Mike Epic, what's up? Tate Lang says it's resonating. Awesome. Soul Flame, what's up? Slugs and Sales says, be careful, Jonathan. Somebody might be offended by what you say and will have to go to reprogramming school and be a better person. Great. David San Miguel. Tate Lang says, I'm getting better at ejaculation control. And now that I have more sexual energy as a result, I'm noticing I feel like I'm seeing women too sexually and I don't feel a big heart connection. How can we open up and have more heart connection while also not losing our masculinity or sexuality with women? I feel too much heart can make us less attractive, but that might be a limiting belief. I think this is a great question. This is definitely an inner. It is it's somewhat of an inner feminine masculine dynamic within us. We all have masculine feminine aspects within us. You know, when I say being a masculine man, it doesn't mean that you know you have absolutely zero yin aspects, so to speak, right? Uh, because the balance is important for health. But this specifically, this issue basically is this balance of loving heart energy versus lustful sexual genital energy. This is water and fire element, kidney and heart, the je and the shen in the Taoist cosmology, the kind of elemental consciousness of water and fire. There is pretty much most people, definitely men, a lot for women as well. This heart genital connection becomes severed, and we can't really. It's like water and fire have divorced, and from my experience, one of the most important aspects of this work is to reunite the heart center and the sexual energy and to balance these two energies. And when I explain this, people often get like confused and are like, oh, well, okay, I have to be just in my heart or just my sexual energy. Or, okay, well, that means lust is wrong. Lust is not wrong. Love is not wrong. It's the extremes. We humans we're creatures of extremes because we're, as my alchemy teacher would say, we have lost our yuanqi, our neutral force. So we only recognize extremes. It's like, well, if I'm not this I over here, I must be this way over here. If I'm not a liberal, I must be a Republican. If I'm not conservative, I must be liberal. Right? We're stuck in extremes. So why this happens to men, I believe it's pretty much primarily because of porn conditioning, where we observe sex with no heart, with no connection. Two people who probably didn't know each other. One of them may be getting raped. I mean, porn's fucked up. The porn industry is fucking dark. So we're seeing this image that just has a very skewed perspective of what sexuality is, but it's our primary experience, our primary viewpoint of what sexuality is. You can imagine, as porn as a teenager, that was my only experience of sex for until I had real life sex, and then it still continued to be when because I still watch porn, and it just completely fucks up your emotional, mental, spiritual, physical. sexual health and any hope of having a healthy sexual connection. So we experience sex only as this lustful experience, but that leads to an ultimately unfulfilling experience because sex without the heart energy, without the love, the loving energy, is never fulfilling. You always want more. You fuck, you usually ejaculate, you empty yourself, you feel like satiated for a little bit, and then you want more. Often after you ejaculate, you still want more, but you have to recover. Your fracture period, bro. So you can't. And so you always want more, and it just dries you up. This is why, um, like in brahmacharya, the yogic path, the concept of just abstaining from sexual thoughts, abstaining from sex, of course, ejaculation, but sexual thoughts, because they think kind of the feeling that all of this will lead to ejaculation. But I like the Taoist flavor a little bit more because it's like, well, you can have all the sex you want. It's really beneficial. Just don't ejaculate. Non-ejaculatory orgasms. So it's ultimately unfulfilling. It just kind of dries you up. It dissipates your life force, only seeking after lust. The heart energy, and this is what it's a big barrier on the path for a lot of men, from what I've seen, for teaching this stuff for many years now. It's one of the big barriers men have in learning to be multi-orgasmic and learning to have this full body orgasm experience is there's no heart energy. It's just this dry, hot male sexual flame, which it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's incomplete in my opinion, my experience. So when the heart energy is involved, it balances that sexual energy. It raises the vibration of that lust energy, it makes it lighter, it makes it more digestible, it makes it want to move upwards in your body to connect with the rest of your being. I believe that's what our sexual energy is meant to do. It's meant to enhance the function of our whole, you could say, chakra system, energetic system, endocrine system. It's meant to move up and amplify everything and just blast us off into super consciousness. But when we get stuck in the lustful expression of sex, lust is this heavy, dense energy that wants to flow down and out of the body. And that's what it makes us do. It makes our energy flow down and out. We ejaculate and we lose it. When that's your only experience of it, depletion is inevitable. So when you can bring back in the heart energy, your cultivation path becomes lighter. It becomes more enjoyable. And I've experienced this as well. I would say it's something I have to constantly be mindful of as well, because as my sexual energy starts to really build up, I've had the tendency as well sometimes to just be overly lustful, overly just like, ugh, um, just in that lustful side of sex. And it gets a little obsessive, and it becomes a bit of a distraction. So when you can constantly keep that sexual energy alchemized, transmuting it through your body, of course, microcosmic orbit, all that, there's even more kind of sophisticated practices to really transmute that energy into Shen. I teach a practice called Kan and Lee, Taoist internal fire water alchemy, in my multi-orgasmic man course, where you learn how to transmute, connect the heart and sexual center, and transmute that essence of the sperm into Shen, into pure consciousness, this neutral force mist. So, as far as on a very practical level, how to balance, manage, and improve that, place a hand on your heart, a hand on your genitals, and breathe between them. Breathe from your cock and your balls up into your heart. Exhale from your heart. Feel that loving heart energy down into your sexual center. So you breathe up that lustful energy into your heart, penetrate your heart with it. Breathe the loving energy of your heart down into your sexual center and penetrate your sexual center with that. That helps to balance that out. I think that like artistic expression, anything that exercises your heart energy, spiritual practices, art, creative art, and things like that will help to open up that heart center, and I think that will naturally start to, as you're doing, these sexual kung fu practices as well, it will help to balance things out. And yeah, too much heart, you get overly emotional, and so just be mindful of that and keep it balanced. Don't get too lost in your emotional body. Drummer Jones says, "Can sexual kung fu be compared with tantra, or is it completely different?" I mean, there's a lot of parallels, a lot of similarities. Sexual kung fu coming from the Taoist system, tantra coming from tantra from the path of tantra cultivation, which was a whole system of cultivation. Um, I would say tantra tends to be a bit more central channel focused, kind of central ascending, very much like Kundalini, crown opening, blasting off. Um, a lot of work with like deities and things like that too, which is cool. It has great practices. Whereas sexual kung fu and the Taoist practices, it's a little more embodied, in my opinion. Like, oh, let's bring in the arm and leg channels. Let's bring in the earth energy. Okay, we'll bring the energy up, but let's bring it back down too. Microcosmic orbit, 8 extraordinary meridians. Boom. Um, so I just find it a little more practical and grounded. But both are great. I've studied tantra. I teach many tantra techniques myself. They're both fantastic. Kabi Kien, what's up? Oh, I just I thought of this, guys. Just want a quick sharing here. I fractured my big toe last week in Taekwondo. I'm sparring with this guy and I kicked. He did something and it met my big toe. Broke my toe. I was fucked up for a couple days. And then, like day 3 or 4, I was walking in. I'm pretty much fine now. Very, very quick recovery. It's a little sore, little achy, but you know, the weekend I was down. Monday I was up doing standing qigong, standing for an hour. Well, 30, do my Zhanzhuang practice, doing squats and stuff. So a massive quick recovery from a fractured toe. I'm impressed. I have to say, one of the practices I did was pull my sexual energy into it amidst other things. So, it's the Jing baby. Boom. Roy Eunice. What's up, Roy? Says, good to see you, Jonathan. I have a question that might be different from the main topic. Sometimes when I start semen retention, and after a few days, I start to have a very sharp wit, especially when I play music. I start to improvise things that are very new and mind blowing for me, as if there is something open in my mind. Even when I talk to people, I never run out of things to say. Is this higher centers or chakras more involved? Well, it's difficult for me exactly to say because, when you're a cultivator, right? Are you doing like the practices as well? So if you're doing microcosmic or if you're doing testicle breathing, then yeah, the energy's starting to it's affecting all of your energy centers. But it can also be a simple matter of yeah, this center your lower energy centers are charged up. That's your core vitality, your core willpower, creativity. And so everything's just a little more sharp, a little more energetic. I mean, I know it's the exact same thing. It's why one of the many things I loved about practicing semen retention was that I had this like endless supply of creative energy. Being a musician myself, being, an entrepreneur, I do a lot of creative work every day. And, back in the day, I used to do, I was a freelance music composer for video game companies. It was a cool gig at the time. It required a lot of creative energy to just be like, just putting together compositions, musical compositions with deadlines and stuff. And I crushed it because the sexual energy. And back in the day when I was, younger, I used to think like, "Oh man, we gotta like smoke a bowl. I need to smoke some weed. Then that'll be inspiration." And I relied on that, which I didn't no judgment or anything. It's just it was this external thing that ultimately wasn't really sustainable. It was very up and down. But like, yeah, I find the same thing when I've built my sexual energy and I'm engaging with it. Much more creative, much more fluidity in things. Absolutely. Sexual energy is creative energy. So when you're not, giving it to a crusty old tissue, you're building it up in your body, it's going to move you. bone breathing qigong. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thanks. Multi man. That was another practice I was doing. My broken toe was bone breathing. Phenomenal. Roy Eunice says, being emotional or is heart or more of a sacral chakra, do you think? I mean, emotions are definitely heart, more, more, more so the heart. It's the lower body's kind of, it's like, fuck, survive, eat, control, dominate others. And it's like, ooh, love, connect. And I think emotions kind of, oh, well, of course, there's different emotions. Like there could be lower center emotions. Anger is often connected like to more lower. I mean, I see things more in terms of like the organ spirits and their connections, kind of the, the Taoist. Um, uh, the, the meridian systems, the 12 meridians and the organ spirits and the elemental energies. That's kind of more my view and perception of things. But as far as like the chakra model, yeah, emotions will relate to different things, but some of the more like, yeah, heart-centered emotions in the heart area, obviously. Anger can relate to lower body areas. But, like, you can feel them in your body, like, when you feel an emotion, like, you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your heart, sometimes you feel it in your throat, constriction. I mean, it affects other areas of your bodies as well, like, when you're angry, you're tensing up here, so it's actually affecting energy up here too. It's closing down, some of the energetic flow in your upper body. I mean, the gallbladder meridian's going through up here. So it's not as simple as, like, this right here, that's this emotion, this is that emotion. It's our 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 energy bodies and channels have this fractal nature to them. Like I've been doing a lot of this inner dissolving practice, which is fucking awesome. Really going deep with this practice. I learned it from Bruce Francis. It's really simple, but it's also extremely advanced and difficult at the same time. So as you start to work with an energetic blockage, like it starts to dissolve and you start to feel the access points to it, like you feel these little areas, almost like a door opening up. Then you go in there and it's like another door, becomes this fractal maze within the blockage, and then you start to feel it pulsate. You start to feel it connect to other areas of your body, and that connects over here. Like I was working like in my liver, I ended up working up like in my ear, and then the front line, my chin right here, this whole connected energetic pattern is very interesting. So ultimately, it's a lot more complex than like, oh, it's just heart chakras, heart energies. I mean, it's a little more complex than that. Drew Merrick Jones says he's asking, can you become an expert with an online course alone, or do you need more personal guidance? So as far as like sexual kung fu and all these practices, I'm guessing I mean, expert. As far as becoming an expert, you definitely want to like study really in depth with a teacher and a system. Like if you want to be like a high level teacher or something like that, if you want to go to the highest depths of this, you definitely want to study in person. But as far as just like those of you who are just like, I just want to learn sexual kung fu enough to like do the thing to build more energy, have non-ejaculatory orgasms, have better sex. Yeah, online course, like it's going to be solid for you. And it's also going to vary person to person. Some people will learn really well from like videos and online courses. Like, I can learn really well from that kind of stuff, especially if I've like, well, after like having studied with some teachers in person, really gone in depth of like just really developing strong body awareness around energy channels and all this work of qigong and everything, it's become a lot easier for me just to absorb things from books and videos and courses. So some people will absorb things better. Some people have a more difficult time and they need like someone there, like putting their hands on their body to really feel the practice. So it just depends. Becoming an expert though, you definitely like want to really study with the teacher in depth for sure. Parths Sarvaya says, brother, I have a constant headache. What is this for? Well, where at in your head? Like if it's right here, it's often like, you can look at the energy meridians. I've recently been getting like gallbladder channel pressure, which comes up kind of here, back of the head, down the back of the body. Um, but the most common cause of headache is yang qi, fire, usually liver or heart fire. Energy from the liver and heart system rising up into the head. Liver system usually relates to just general stress, staring at a screen for long periods of time, things like that. It causes the liver chi to rise up and get stuck in the head, causes insomnia. It's a pattern I've a common pattern for me. I interesting learned some interesting things about my own personal energetic constitution recently. I'm like strongly wood dominant. I thought I was fire dominant. It's wood, it turns out. So it's a really powerful insight for me. And so what happens for me is the wood in the creation cycle, the water strengthens the wood. So my wood tends to, the liver pulls from the kidneys. It pulls a lot of my water energy. Deficient kidney has been a challenge for me for a lot of uh, different periods of my life. I think it's a common pattern for a lot of people. But because the wood controls the earth, the wood energy has been kind of invading my spleen, stomach energy, my earth, and not properly burning into fire. So it's like, fuck, my wood chi is super fucking strong. Earth chi tends to get deficient. Water kidney energy tends to be a bit deficient. Heart energy isn't as strong as it could be. My metal chi is strong though. It's strong, baby. But wood's fucking out of control. So I got to burn it into fire. I got to increase my fire element to burn up that wood, turn into spiritual energies, and then that can move into the earth. Creation cycle can flow well. But it could also be caused from heart chi, like usually like strong emotions, a lot of emotional stuff, rising heart chi. So it depends. One thing that can be helpful with headaches, though, is to spend less time on a screen, release some stress in your life. Notice how you tend to like tense up your face and just massage. There's a great point right here. So pupils of the eyes, just like straight above, right here, press in there. You'll find a tender spot. You have to move around a little bit. It's a gallbladder point. Oh, really nice to release. There's also the triple heater meridian, which comes right here at the edge of the eyes. You kind of massage around, find that tender point. Oh yeah, that goes down inside the ears, over the top of the arm, out the ring finger. Let's do a triple heater sound just to clear some of that heat out of the head. It's a he sound, but subvocally, like he. So raise the hands up. Feel like your body's a clear tube. Feel like hot energy from your head and your upper body. Emotional energy, excessive thinking, just purging down through your torso, out your feet to the earth. Great to do before sleep. If you have insomnia, gets you out of your head. But for headaches, get your bare feet on the earth, massage your feet, lay on the ground, just like really connect to the earth chi. Get that energy down. Sinking it down will help. Jaws, ears, and mouth. So kind of like here, yeah, that could be triple. It could be triple heater, like this area here. It could be a lot of things though. I mean, there's what is it? Bladder, all kinds of stuff. Look up some acupressure points and work with them. I have a video um, called "How to Activate an Energy Meridian" on my YouTube channel. That's a fucking awesome technique. You're not going to see that many other places. Um, find an acupoint that works for whatever your symptoms are, and use that technique on that point. But you give yourself acupuncture every day. You're welcome. I do that every night before I go to sleep. It's phenomenal practice. Pericardium 6, baby. Clear that heat. Phil Brad's question: tell us how important foreplay is, including time and touch. Well, my son, foreplay is essential. You see, when a woman's aroused, her water just flows and she'll suck you right in. It's you really want your partner to be ready to receive you. You want to bring the water to a boil, make her wet and moist, and it's a lot more pleasurable, and it's also much more energetically she's activated. So that Some guys feel like they need to ejaculate too quickly when the woman's not properly aroused because her sexual fire, so to speak, isn't engaged. So it's actually going to pull on yours, and you experience just this like pull on your sexual energy. And like I found when my partner's just like maximum aroused, she's just super wet. Uh, it makes it really easy to control it. Like there's just, I mean, there's no control necessary. It's just like, oh, it's just, it's just going, baby. Oh, but yeah, as far as how long all these things, you must foreplay for exactly 12 minutes and 50 seconds. No, there's it just depends. Some if your partner's a woman, some women will take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to warm up. Some of them will be ready to go in a few minutes. It just depends on, there's we men want to be very formulaic. Like we want to have one thing we can do. Like, okay, we do this for 2 minutes, touch right here for 5 minutes. It's how our minds work. We're kind of like engineers because we're logical beings. But unfortunately, that's not how women's bodies work, and it took me a long time to figure that out. And they're unpredictable. It's not going to be the same thing. Like you learn something that feels amazing for her one day, then the next day it's completely different. And it will vary women to women. Like I dated one girl who was fairly predictable in what would get her going, but you have to learn how to read her body because if you're sitting there like counting it in your head, like you're disconnected. So learn to read her body when her breath starts to deepen, when she's like, oh, starting to move around. It's like the Taoist classics talk about like when she kisses you, the cheese in her spleen, I forget the exact thing. When she moans, the cheese in her lungs. When she's moist, the cheese in the kidneys. And now she's fully ready to fully prepared to receive your jade stock. Touch. Start with touching your full body. Don't go straight for the genitals, or the breasts. Touch the face. Like she's really been had a stressful day. She's really in her head. Like massage. Just gentle touch, like the head, the scalp, massaging that area, releasing tension in the forehead, and just kind of go down, massaging the shoulders, the back. It's good to kind of touch and massage her whole body. And then you can start to get to the sexy places when she's ready. I actually did a video, though, a partner massage video on my YouTube channel. So that could be a nice thing to use as well. I also made a video on, I have like 500 videos on my YouTube. My YouTube is basically like a database. Search it for whatever you're looking for, sexual kung fu, and then type in what you're looking for. You'll probably find something. But I also made a video on Taoist foreplay. Bring the pot to a boil, baby. Okay, interesting. I'll get to that. I want to answer this one first. Slugs and Snails says, "Can I ask about diet? I eat mostly vegetable, fish, eggs, etc. I do not like meat. Is there a diet? Is there a diet better for men and for sexual kung fu?" Well, I made a diet video, sexual vitality diet, where I share, you know, in depth like what I recommend, definitely as far as like things to avoid, and then foods that I really like. For me personally, I love meat, and I eat a lot of meat now, and it's been really great for my vitality and my goals and everything. So, um, eat natural foods basically. And I have this interesting perspective on diet. Like there cannot the mindset of like the perfect diet for everyone. I think it's kind of dangerous, honestly, because it leads to extremism. It leads to people where they literally have this religious belief and approach to their diet where it's like this is it, it's everything, this is the one diet, everyone must be carnivore, everyone must be vegan, whatever it is, right? We all know that, we all know that person. And the danger in this is that, like for example, there's people who um a vegan diet's literally destroying their body. It's literally creating levels of depletion. We've all met the vegan who's like fucking skin and bones. They're clearly unhealthy. Like they look like a touch would like break their bones, and you know they're still doing it. They're literally like depleting themselves. But they're like, well, man, I'm just detoxing. Like it's oh, your pineal gland gets blocked if you eat meat. Someone told that to my face, by the way. I'm like, it's all right, it's not true. Where was I going with that? Right. So the danger is that you're so hooked, you've been so convinced that this is the perfect diet that you don't realize that you're fucking dying, man. It's killing you. It's killing your libido. It's killing your vitality because you have this religious belief in it. So you got to be flexible. You got to say, okay, maybe there is no single diet that's perfect for everyone. And I don't believe that there's a single diet that's perfect for everyone, except for, of course, like not eating garbage shit, GMOs, pesticides, seed oils. These things are fucking people up. But be flexible, and learn to listen to your body. Learn to be sensitive. When you crave something that's not like, fucking McDonald's or something, it's probably your body telling you something. Like, for example, recently I started like really craving fruit. I was going through a period where I was not eating a lot of fruit. And then the past few months I've been eating like lots of fruit, like mangoes, strawberries, apples, bananas, dates, all kinds of, berries, big on berries, like just been craving it. And it's doing my body good. All right, Tate Ling, question about if I have anything to say about the way culture might victimize men and try to make us more feminine. It's a common talking point in our culture. Yeah, I mean, I maybe more of like a context on this, but what comes to mind for me is men who are very much just like just very complainy, very like, oh, poor me, all this, and just very overly emotional, overly like I'm the victim and all this. I mean, victim identity in general is always disempowering. So I guess I don't know. Maybe more context about this would help me, but just in general, yeah. I mean, any of these I mean, this is a common thing right now where there's these different like groups of people, these kind of like group things of like, oh, well, this person, the whole like inclusivity thing, and like, okay, we have to make everyone fucking included, and the whole. I mean, we fucking. Where am I going with this? All right, fuck it. I'll talk about it a little bit. The whole gender thing, all these things. It's just like, what in the fuck? Like, where did we come to? Of like, okay, this is what I'm going to say. There's people who live in third world countries who literally don't know if they're going to live through the next day. They literally don't know if their family is going to be fucking raped and murdered that day. There's a fair amount of people in the world living like this every single day. They don't have clean water. They don't have food. They're starving to death. They're watching their friends and family die. And if your worst problem right now is that you're worried about the pronoun someone's calling you, you're worried about what your title, like, if you really think that that's a deep, legitimate problem, like, you're just kind of looking for things to complain about. That's what I'm gonna say on that. I know that's, oh, that's controversial. That's gonna get me in trouble. I don't fucking give a shit. Like, here's the thing: victimizing yourself is it's not doing anyone good. Don't look to be included in everyone. Don't look for everyone to like fucking accommodate you and just make sure that make sure I don't fucking, I don't know. Just be real, be grateful for what you have, be grateful that we're not in a, that things could be a lot worse. And if you're gonna like spend all this time and energy complaining about something and trying to raise all this awareness around something, make sure it's something worth doing and not just this trending bullshit control system that's, just creating this group mind, just a huge distraction and control system for people. All right. Maybe I missed the mark on that one. I don't know, but it happened. Sebastian, what's up? He says, making sound while lovemaking is incredible how it dissipates ejaculation. Yes, yes, yes. That's one of my core teachings now. It's like, make sound. If it feels good, if you don't express it, it's going to get stuck and then you're going to ejaculate. That's another expression. It's the silent expression. Blup, blup, blup. But when you, oh, 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 yeah, try it. You'd be surprised how much it moves that energy. Deep groaning. Ugh. I can't ejaculate when I'm making a deep sound like that. So, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Sebastian. It's so important. So, Flames eating guacamole homemade. Fucking love guacamole. One of my favorite things in the world. I love avocados. I love guacamole. It's amazing. Sebastian R says, "Do you teach any qigong exercises that channel energy from the earth?" All qigong channels energy from the earth. You're standing on your legs, you're sinking the qi, you're sinking through your feet into the earth. It's earth qi you're moving through your body. To get the celestial chi is a bit well, it's there too as well, but the earth chi is the big thick thing. So all of the qigong I teach is very, very earth energy centric. So I talk about the arms are not that important. It's actually the legs and what's happening in the lower body is the most important thing. Zhanzhuang, it's all earth chi, baby. Uh, but like, okay, ascending earth energy, grounding, taking chi from the earth to Dantian, et cetera. I mean, yeah, that's happening. It's already happening. You don't have to, you can use your mind to direct that as well. Like you can breathe up from the earth to your Dantian or wherever and back down to the earth. And I teach that in my deep earth pulsing qigong practice, especially like connecting that to your sexual energy to ground it, to mix the earth chi with your sexual energy to cool it down, make it more digestible. So yeah, it's definitely something I teach. FFFFG says, when you first started this journey of semen retention, did it force you to give up behaviors that are not in alignment with the new energies? Yeah, one of them was jerking off to porn. Another one was drinking alcohol. Another one was hanging around with people who were just like hanging out at the bar, getting drunk, and like it. So it changed it. Yeah, absolutely. Tons of things fell away. But I mean, it wasn't just for me. It wasn't just semen retention. Semen retention was a part of my practice, my cultivation, my qigong, my meditation practice. This was all kind of one thing. Sexual kung fu, lifestyle. It was all one thing here. But yeah, absolutely, tons of things I gave up. Lots of behaviors. You know, a lot of addictive tendencies, a lot of like substance abuse things. Alcohol, weed, porn, tons of things. Absolutely. To if you want something new, you must if yeah, when something new arises, it must remove the old. So it's like if you want to bring a new pattern into your life, if you're trying to quit porn, trying to quit jerking off to porn every day, you have to have something better to replace it with. And for me, that was qigong and like non-ejaculatory sexual experiences. Oh, Ostizel says energy gets stuck in my head when I do some qigong practices, but I was able to ground myself after doing your double helix breath. I am returning to your course material after a few years. Excellent. I mean, everyone's two in their heads. Everyone's two in their head in this world. I, I mean, I still am a lot of the time. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's a daily challenge for me just to get the fuck out of my head. Like in my Zhanzhuang practice, I was in the park this morning, just fucking, just sinking, just boom, totally relaxed, totally dissolved, boom. My Dantian was like in the earth and it felt fucking awesome. Then I'm like dissolving into my Dantian. It's opening up. It's getting hot. It's cooking. It's opened everything up. I'm like, can I raise my arms and feel my shoulders still in my feet in the earth? Fucking rooted. It's awesome. That'll get you out of your head. Okay. What Roy's asking, what do you think is considered a sexual misconduct? I would say something that impedes on someone else's will, someone else's, forcing yourself on someone else, crossing someone else's boundary. You're like flashing your private parts to people who don't want to see them, things like that. I guess I would say was I would consider sexual misconduct, and of course, age things, uh, being of legal age and all that. It's going to vary due to local laws, of course. Avon says, "Is it true? It's true that is it true that after a certain amount of days transmuting and retaining, you start to feel everything around you again? connected to everything and not in your mind, even if it's positive. Um, mm, it depends. I would say overall, no, it's not like just practicing retention that's gonna automatically happen for you. Like, eh, there's so many factors to this, like feeling connected to everything around you. It's gonna be a process. It's gonna be there sometimes and sometimes not. It's not gonna be there just because you went so many days without ejaculating. Um, because there's so many factors to this. It's not just the buildup of sexual energy moving through the body. That's an important factor, but you know, you could be stressed out that day and that will be blocking you from feeling connected to everything, whatever what exactly that means to you. Um, so yeah, no, not necessarily. Miguel says, "What are your thoughts on homosexuality and how it affects sexual energy?" It's how it affects sexual energy. It just means that you have a different sexual orientation. You're attracted to a different type of person. Um, it's it's great. It's fine. It's fantastic. I mean, maybe it's more of the like dynamics of the two men connecting sexually. Maybe this is what the question's directing at. In that, and I can only comment on this objectively, having not been in a homosexual experience myself. That men have our male sexual energy is very, very volatile. It's very fiery. And in any relationship, there's going to be a more yin partner and a more yang partner, but two men together, it can be very fiery. I think that's why homosexual relationships tend to be very fiery, very volatile, and so there's just that's something to keep in mind that there may be a greater degree of yin supplemented in whatever way, kind of supplementing that water energy, that earth energy to balance out that fire of the relationship. But other than that, everything's pretty much the same. All the practices, everything can be equally implemented. All right. A few more questions. I'm going to wrap this up. Florian says, "What would you recommend to someone who didn't have sex in years? I think it has something to do with some sort of toxic shame and guilt. How do you get rid of it?" Well, the first thing is that if you think there's like shame and guilt around this, maybe you had like a difficult experience with a past partner. It's time to move on from that. It's time to let this go. And a good way to do this is to start to connect and love your own body, to start to practice these techniques of sexual kung fu, breathing, self pleasuring, learning to love your body, connect with it without shame. Love this aspect of yourself. Sit in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say, "I fucking love myself. I am a beautiful human being. My body is beautiful. It is a work of art. My body is a device of massive pleasure." And connect with it. Touch yourself like you would want a lover to touch you and enjoy the fuck out of it. Enjoy every minute of it. Breathe into it. Love it. Fully embrace it, embody it, and accept it and say, "This is fucking great. And this is how it's supposed to be." Sexuality is healing. Sexual desire is universal, universal love embodied in the body. Work with that, and on your own. And of course, there's a lot of practices. I mean, I teach the whole system of sexual kung fu in my courses to kind of go through different aspects of clearing negative emotions, releasing these stuck patterns of the past helps to open up, making maybe working with a therapist, a healer, someone to kind of coach you through this stuff as well will be helpful. And develop your confidence, develop your masculine strength and assertiveness and decisiveness, get on your life's purpose, your passion, and fucking go for it. Don't worry about pleasing others. Make your life's mission, your life's path, and your needs a priority. Sebastian says, "My partner wants to learn this stuff. Is there any YouTube channel or book you recommend focused on women?" There's some great books I would recommend on the women's practices. Um, this Minka DeVos, who I studied with, she's an amazing teacher. She has a book called Tao Tantric Arts for Women. I will say though, it's probably going to be really overwhelming for someone new to this stuff. There's like a million exercises in it, a million practices. They're great, but it's just overwhelmed. Like, well, what the fuck do I do? There's 10 million things. Most that's the tendency is to do nothing because you're just overwhelmed from that, right? Um, there's another book called, I think it's Women's Anatomy of Arousal. That's a really great book for women as well. It's one by Diane Richardson, which it's a little different flavor, but I like it as well. It's called, what is it called? I think it's Tantric Orgasm for Women. Diane Richardson. That's a good one as well. It's good for men also. It has a very different mindset around pleasure and sex and orgasm. As far as YouTube channels, honestly, I'm not. I don't. I mean, I see a lot of women who teach sexual stuff, but it's coming from kind of a different space, kind of my vibe and flavor. I don't know. My partner and I made a course for women, and I've considered sharing more stuff on like women's practices, the female side of things, because I've been studying this stuff for decades. So I'm not a woman, so I can only share so much from the theoretical level. But I have learned a lot about it. So if there's any women following this, let me know if you'd like to see more on the women's side of practice. I'd be happy to share more of that in the future. Sebastian's doing Dantian exercise, doing testicle breathing, using microcosmic orbit. I still feel energy circulating. Maybe I had some chi on my body. I feel it more when I move to my head. It's very notorious when it descends. Yeah, the common tendency is for men to it's easy to get the chi up and then it kind of gets stuck in your head. So using less mental effort, relaxing, learning to relax and sync the chi. This is why I think Zhan Zhuang, the standing qigong meditation practice, is really helpful for learning to sync and open this descending energy channel. Because it's easy to kind of drive the energy upwards, but it can be difficult to get it to go down. It requires a letting go. You can't force the energy down. You have to let go to sync the chi. Maybe when I'm laying this question you were asking about, like the victim mindset men have around feminine stuff. I'm not sure if like where there's a lot of like there's kind of the like incel type guys and some of them who are like, well, the world is run by women and it's all feminine control and we're victims to it all. I'm not sure if that's coming. That just kind of came to mind. And I've seen some of that as well. So, but yeah, I think any sort of victim mindset is not healthy, and any man who's in a victim mindset is definitely not strong in their masculine as well. I would say that absolutely, and um, yeah. Soul Flame says, "I discovered Zhan Zhuang thanks to you and doing the first pose. It's the best thing ever. It's incredible. Thanks a lot." That's how I feel about the practice. I still do. It's still my daily staple. It's the foundation of my entire practice. Zhan Zhuang is fucking awesome. It's very challenging. Spend 30 minutes doing it. I've spent hours in postures before. It's intense, but like, damn, the chi cultivation of it is insane. Slugs and Snails says, Jonathan, you are an inspiring guy and and a pleasure to listen to. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Slugs and Snails. I'm glad you get something from this. Thanks everyone for being here, for following my content, commenting, interacting, sharing your guys' insights, your struggles, your experiences. I mean, we're all in this together. I'm just grateful that there's people here to listen to this stuff because, I started this channel because I was learning this stuff. I had no one to talk to about this. I was trying to tell my friends about semen retention, non-ejaculatory orgasms, and they were just like, what the fuck? It felt very uncomfortable for them to talk about. And so this YouTube channel, it was like therapeutic. It was me just like talking to a friend, like, hey, you got to know about this stuff. You got to fucking know about this. It's life changing. And, I have, just hit 85,000 subscribers on YouTube. So just, grateful to you guys for being here. It's really you guys who are, doing the work as well, sharing it with your friends, sharing it with your family, sharing it with your loved ones. And we're all in this together, my friends, my brothers. Yeah, Tantric Orgasm for Women by Diana Richardson. It's the book I mentioned. Zhenzhuang is spelled correct that I'm here. Yeah, you can also look up. I have a video of this on my YouTube channel. Look up sexual kung fu, standing qigong, standing meditation. Zhenzhuang's the it means pole standing, standing like a tree. Yeah, that's the practice. Slugs and Snails says, Jonathan, do you ever do Qigong under the moonlight, super blue moon around at the moment? Yeah, I do. I often find it very stimulating though. Definitely like full moon. So I tend to not do it as much. But I do. There's also a full moon practice I learned where you work with the core channel. It's quite potent as well. Beza Orzo says, how can you channel back into your sexual organs after being caught in fight or flight for an extended period of time? Like a balance your nervous system, do spend some time in nature, lay on the ground, do some relaxing breathing. Something that's been really phenomenal tool for me, it's called Buteyko breathing, Buteyko. I made a little short on it on my YouTube recently, but it's a phenomenal practice that really puts you in parasympathetic. And as well, meditation, all of the sexual kung fu practices are helping to balance your nervous system. And once you feel a bit calm, do some testicle breathing, baby. Get that energy back down there. Get it down there. Sebastian, yes, you can do microcosmic orbit the same time as Dantian practice because as you start to build the Dantian, the microcosmic orbit will become more and more tangible. I mean, I was doing microcosmic orbit for years before I really started building the Dantian, and I had um, success with it for sure. But it just became a lot more like now my microcosmic orbit's fucking electrical. Like was it yesterday? I was doing a morning practice. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do the simple little traditional microcosmic orbit method. So I sit there and fucking cook my Dantian, just get it red hot, 30 minutes, just blasting, blowing up the Dantian, really just holding the focus there. Nothing too special until my Dantian's red hot, and then I just put my awareness, put my yi at the Wei Lu, the tailbone point, and just held it there. And that started to get hot. And then it was like this shoom, 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 like something like bzz, bzz, up my back, up the spine. Then I felt this like lump, this dense, thick thing in the crown of my head, the Bai Hui point, and then moved to my Yin Tong third eye point. And I felt it kind of like almost like this bubbly, effervescent, thick honey moving like through my sinuses, down the front channel, down my throat, and then the whole thing was just like pumping. Uh, um, very electrical, very tangible. That's what the microcosmic orbit feels to me a lot now. And it took me years to get there. Like I wasn't feeling shit when I first started doing the microcosmic orbit, but I was able to move my sexual energy through it and have non-ejaculatory orgasms. So like, okay, something's happening. And occasionally I would have like a little like, ooh, I feel something happening there. Like the first time I did Michael Wynn's microcosmic orbit practice, which I teach in my course, I had a real like tangible experience of the orbit. But after doing a lot of Dantian work, I mean, it takes years. It really does. This isn't the quick path. It's the water path, baby. Slow and steady, but it's fucking dense. Once that cheese there, that microcosmic orbit is lit, son, and it feels fucking awesome. So keep practicing every day. You have that to look forward to. Oh. Lemcam Twin, he's the man. That boy got me started. His book, The Way of Energy on Qigong, was the first book I read on Qigong. Fucking changed my life. That's always the one I recommend to people. When they're like Qigong books, that's always like the number one. It's The Way of Energy, Lam Cam Twin. I love that book. It's very simple, very poetic, very inspiring. Oh, 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 that practice changed my life. And I'm still doing it every day. That was uh, 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago. I've been doing Zhuang every single day, except for 2 days this weekend because I broke my fucking toe. But it's better now, baby. I'm back less a week from today. Quick bone break heal. I mean, it's still, it's a little achy and stuff still, but I thought I was going to be off my feet for a month. Very quick recovery. Speaks to the practices. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Always good to see you guys. Always good to hang out and do our thing here. Um, some cool stuff coming. I'll keep you guys updated on that. For now, take care, my brothers, my friends from around the world. Boom. Be well, my friends. Follow your own path. Don't let people fuck you around with their bullshit. That's all I can say.